various activities. The broader objective of this is to have an integrated and comprehensive approach and to use best practices of different organizations for mutual benefit. The social, emotional, and academic support provided by our various partners has been of immense value to our students. With globalization and technology, the world is giving unending possibilities of connection, and partnerships are the way ahead to ensure quality education, leading to skill building and opportunities for every child. We have over here some examples of children who have benefited with education and paved the way ahead. Education can come in any form, but it will translate into self esteem and dignity. We have three examples here. Navreen, who comes from an extremely poor family, always with internal strife, violence, and hunger is their daily routine. She has very poor academic skills. She dropped out time and again. We discovered her interest and skill in martial arts, and here she is now, winning awards, a motivated and confident young girl. We have Sumaya, whose mother is a cleaner in Iktara, and she joined us when she was 3 years old. Today, she's studying in one of the best schools in the city. She speaks English. She works with all the students together. She works on the computer. She is learning robotics. She is learning coding. And she's one of our finest examples of how a student can grow up with education. We have three community leaders. Of this, I would particularly like to speak about Nahida. Nahida is the daughter of a tea stall owner who barely earns rupees 6,000 a month and supports a family of five. She struggled to fight against the patriarchal mindset of her father and her brothers. They insisted on getting her married after school. With our support and with her grit and hard work, she got into one of the premium colleges in the city, graduated from there, and now she's working on a professional degree of chartered accountancy and doing her articleship in one of the known firms. Women. Razia. She's a single mother. She was abandoned by her alcoholic husband at the time of her daughter's birth. She came to us to work as a cleaner. We judged her intelligence and strength. We put her into a nursing program while she helped with the health program at Iktara. Today, she's a full nurse. She leads the health program for our 950 children and proudly supports her daughter's education. This is a key example of how education has definitely elevated her and eliminated her poverty, her impoverished condition. She today earns a good salary. She takes care of her daughter, and today her husband has come back to her, whom she also supports. It is apparent that most of the required interventions for growth and reduction of poverty require high quality education at all levels to respond to the challenges of the community and of the nation. I end by appealing to all the listeners to understand and to recognize that quality education is the way ahead for our girls, for our communities, and for our country. I will be very happy to take any questions you have from here.
Thank you, Vinitaji, for very concise and content-rich presentation. In a part of a meditative way of facilitating, we're going to take a step before we get into a question answer. Is just everyone sit comfortably straight and then reflect on what you just heard. And I'm going to give you some pointers to think through. Poverty limits the growth of mind. Once the aspect of poverty are taken care of, mind can blossom. This organization is doing just that. What do I think they can do even better? What can I learn from that I can help someone else in my life? And how can I contribute to making such efforts even better? So what do I have suggestion for Vinita ji and the team in general that I can share. Open your eyes and any questions, comment you would like to offer anyone, raise your hand. We are getting too serious. So we put some filter on how we want to think. We just lose questions. Let me ask
Vinita is a
you.
great presentation, wonderful, absolute content. But getting to that place for all over India seems a century of development would be required for that. Uh, because this is a huge, huge change from what we see today. Are these girls, apart from other education, being understanding the consciousness that they have to give back to the society where they come from and not disconnected from their families, which are still mired in poverty and ignorance? What is your approach toward developing that kind of consciousness for them and to give back to the society which they have got from you and your organization? Thank you.
That's a very relevant question, and I would really like to answer that, because I think that what is happening is that the way we are training our girls is that, they are working with their peers all the time. And since the pandemic, we've been working very intensively with their families. So we did realize that before the pandemic, there were the teachers and there were the families. Through the pandemic, we realized that the parents cannot be just parents, they need to be teachers as well. And the teachers cannot be just teachers, and they need to be parents as well. So while we ingrained into the parents that they need to start working with their children, we also started working with the children that they need to start working with their peers. So the older girls that we have, whom we made the community leaders, they are the ones who are working all through the pandemic, reaching out to all the children, carrying messages, carrying the material that was being created at Iktara, carrying that into the community. Even when we were doing ration distribution and support for families, it was these community girls and these students, the older students of ours, who were reaching out to them, because there was complete curfew. We could not go out, we could not enter. So all our students stood up for their families and for the entire community, and they reached out to them. So that was the first step we saw. Even now, when the children have got back to school, we are seeing through our assessments and academic assessments that there are a lot of learning losses. And at the same time, we are doing remediations and remedials with them. But also, we are also creating a system by which the older children who have maybe school dropouts, but they can still specialize in different things, they are the ones who are going to be helping the younger kids through this whole process. There is a lot of mental pressure on the kids. Many children come with mental baggage, with traumatic situations in the families. So the other children reach out to them to help them, understand what it is and come back to us with further information. So we are really integrating into them, and it is very, very important that they must recognize that they have to do the same for their families and their community.
Very good. Thank you. Next question is from Bharat Parekh. Go ahead, Bharatji.
Please unmute yourself.
Unmute, please.
Okay, now?
Yes.
Okay, so, sorry. Thank you very much. It was a very impressive presentation. Number of questions come to mind. I hope I don't keep going on, but I'll try to be brief. I noticed in your model that you had for engagement. I felt one thing was missing, which I believe extremely important, particularly for India, and that is nutrition. As you mentioned in your beginning, how malnutrition just robs a person's life. And it's impossible, no matter how much good education you give, if you are severely malnourished or acutely malnourished, you'll never get to a state where you can survive without community's help. So that way, crores of our community members, our country's people are helpless. And unless they get proper nutrition education right from the beginning, as they're growing up, it'll be impossible for India to get out of the mess we are in. The other part of the nutrition problem is that, we are very good in entrepreneurship. So we have all kinds of food companies producing a lot of junk food and cheap food that's not only be feeding the poor, but it's also feeding the rich. So pretty soon we are also acquiring the title of the diabetic capital of India, of the world. And this is not only the poor, but it's also for the rich. So again, nutrition becomes very significant in the life cycle of the person. Now, I did notice that you have hot meals and snacks for food. Now, that'll be a good place to start nutrition education. And, if children learn the value of the food they eat, what it is they eat, what kind of, if there's a class on nutrition along with, that would be extremely helpful. The other side of the question is, if you look at malnourishment, there are three key types of malnutrition that we have. One is you have the mother. Now, these young girls are going to be future mothers. And to a great extent, the child they're going to produce, that health of the child is going to depend on the health of the mother. So it's very important they learn, what's good nutrition for them. And then secondly, all sorts of requirements like first 6 months breastfeeding. In India, less than 50% of the women breastfeed after the first month. And so a very important amount of nutrition is lost to the child. And so that needs to be, taught to the young girls. And then, of course, complementary food, which has all the micronutrients. So they have to learn about what is good nutrition and so on. And it's not the quantities, it's not just the calories. Okay, I'm going too long, I'm sorry, but I really feel very passionately about it. And unless we take care of our malnutrition problem, we'll have a very hard time in education. The other question side I have relates to your comment about partnerships and collaborations. I would be very interested in knowing, there are a lot of good, well-meaning people around the world, and they would love to help. And something like your program would be fantastic to scale out and spread it around. And you probably need funds for that. So it'll be good if you can create some kind of a website with proposals for funding and projects and so on, where people can come in. Just a suggestion. Well, thank you very much. And I'm sorry I was too long on my
That's okay.
comments.
Go ahead.
I would like to answer both your questions, Mr. Parekh. Thank you very much. And please feel free to keep in touch with me even after the call. Your first question is on nutrition. So there I would like to say that every child who comes to Iktara, we do health checkups of all the children. We have health records of every child. In fact, we have files on every child who's in Iktara. We have 950 kids today, and we have hard copies and soft copies of the health records. We see what their weaknesses are, where they are, if they are malnutritioned, what is low. And so we provide not only hot meals and snacks, but we also provide supplements to them on a regular basis. We give milk, we give everything that they need. Over and above that, we also do hygiene checkups at random. We check on their hygiene levels, we check on their everything, from their hair to their skin, to soap, to washing hands, to undergarments, to every single thing of the child is checked so that they keep good hygiene. When they come to school, how they will eat their tiffin, they are taught social skills of washing their hands, eating their food properly, keeping their nails clean. So all this is taught to them. The other end is the mothers. We have a mothers forum, we have a mothers group whom we address. Through them, we reach out to the other mothers in the community. We do continuing mothers workshops on everything that you've spoken about. We have lactation consultants who come to our organization to do workshops. We have nutritionists who come to our organization to do workshops with the mothers. So we have a lot of mothers who are very, very enthusiastic to take this information down to the community. We also have a community leaders who are creating these modules on health and on different diseases in the community. Like we target specific diseases, like whether it is typhoid or malaria, which they are subject to more. We do some like modules on that, and we reach out to children in their classrooms with those modules. What are the ways to prevent the disease? What are the cures of the disease? And if you have the disease, what should you do? So everything is taught to the children. Seasonally, we do that. Like COVID, we did COVID. During typhoid, malaria, dengue, we do all of that. So we try, although we are an educational organization and not a health organization, we do realize exactly what you said, that if there's malnutrition, they will not come to school, there'll be absenteeism, there'll be attention deficiency, and the education can never be the same. So to ensure quality education, we definitely need to ensure health, hygiene, and nutrition. So all these three are a very, very important component of our program. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention it in that detail, but really do appreciate that, you have brought this up. Your second point is about partnerships, and we are always looking for volunteers. We are, of course, funding. Everybody in India needs funding, and we have our FCRA in place. We have all our documents in place. We do have a very active website, and we always ready with proposals and grants. So we work very actively on fundraising, but we are also very keen to have volunteers and partners. So we realize that we do something well, but others do everything better than us. So what we don't do well, it is better to reach out to a partner and get them to do it for us. And that way, the efficiency and the efficacy of our program will be much better.
That's very good. Thank you, Vinitaji. This one comment that I'd like to make is you mentioned about 900 students and then
Yes.
all the thing you do about this. Those 900 are drawn from the population of that slum, and how many students it could be that you are picking 900. And therefore, I think Bharatjit's question is, even before they come to your school, there may be something you need to do.
So we get them at the age of 3. We admit all our children at the age of 3. We don't take admissions in the middle. And as the child comes to us at the age of 3, she grows with us. So all her nutrition and all her needs are taken care from the age of 3, because we believe
Correct.
that the brain grows maximum between 3 to 5 years of age. As far as the other children are concerned, we are working mostly 95% with girls. But we must admit that there are maybe 20,000 girls in this community, because this is definitely the largest slum of Eastern India and the most impoverished slum. So there is no way, we could reach out to many more, but we definitely would like to emphasize on quality vis-a-vis quantity. And we have been told time and again that, why is it only confined to 950 students? But indirectly, we do reach out to other students, because we do have a mobile school which goes out into the community, and our workers and our educators go into the community to work with them on education. But as far as our support systems are concerned, we only reach out to 950 with our support system.
Got it. Mohanji, you have a question? Unmute, please. Unmute. Mohanji, unmute, please.
Doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent presentation. And I'm seeing you now last almost 2 years. And we had you first and speak in our Jaipur conference and last year. And then I had a chance to visit you also, Calcutta, and before this COVID thing started. So see the whole thing in action and what you are doing. And so we are proud of you, and we're trying to help you as much as we can, working with you. So one of the thing is that we like to see that, since I'm doing this one for last 17, 18 years, I have visited many organizations, and I would suggest you to collaborate with them and learn from them. Visit each other. What can you learn? What can you bring? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So I suggested you one in Bangalore. Okay, I think that will be very good. They are educating She is also Bengali Shukla Bose, but she settled in Bangalore, and she's running 4 schools there in
That's right.
Bangalore, in the slum areas. That would be good. Another one, rule one you want to visit is in that's most relevant for you. But other program, good program going on is in Uttar Pradesh, Pardada Pardadi Education Society. They are educating girls from the villages around the city of Anupshahar. Uh, that one, and the fourth one will be one from Rajasthan. So these are four. If you develop good relationship, there are many others, but at least I know which can work together and visit them, see them, so that you can see what else you can learn to do there, because they are addressing the similar issues, whether in a rural setting or urban setting. It's the same thing because poverty is a similar thing on that one, effects on that.
Okay.
What else we can, as IDC, can help you? I would like to ask you a question apart from what we have been trying to do so far.
Thank you, Mohanji. You've been really supportive of Iktara, and I know you visited us and everything. But definitely, because we live here and we are completely engrossed in our work and on a day-to-day basis in what we are doing and with problems that come up every single day. So we are always firefighting over here. If you do come across, if any of you come across any grants which can benefit education, or give us any leads on any of that, or that would be very, very helpful. We are always ready to work with people, but we do not have, we're not able to look out for grants in the US or even small, big, and we do multiple projects. For example, this new book that we are taking out on climate and environment, we are just looking for maybe funds to just print the book, and we're going to reach out to 1 lakh students. So we've reached out to so many people, but at this time, getting funds in India is extremely difficult. So while we battle funding, we are battling every problem on the ground, which has really escalated, and everything has multiplied in this post-COVID scenario. So any opportunity you get, anything you can find out, if you just send me an email, I will be very happy to take that up. Thank you.
Very good. And your comment goes to everyone on this conference. And if you can guide you towards that or help you,
Absolutely.
that would be great. I just want to make one more comment. What Bharatji talked about the infant and malnutrition. Is it possible for you to carve out some segment of your organization to follow the broader audience who are in first year of age or even younger? And he has a lot of expertise, and it could be the point of joint working, where with a little effort on your side, he can extend much further.
So we don't really work with infants because our scope of work is from the age of 3. So if Bharatji can support us from the age of 3, that will be fantastic. But if we start going down to infants, then it's just that with limited funding, with limited time, with limited
Okay.
access to whatever we have, the resources, it becomes very difficult for us to extend ourselves beyond what we have. That's the only reason. We would definitely like to benefit the families we are working with.
Okay. Bharatji, you have a comment?
Yes, well, a direct comment related to what you just mentioned. We have been working for last many years with several NGOs in India, as well as, with IIT Mumbai and Sion Hospital in Mumbai. And our work has evolved. And what we have learned is that you all know a lot more than we do here in America. I'm in the US. And what is needed is scaling and transferring of knowledge, because India has such a gem of incredible talent and incredible practice, but it's all isolated. And it doesn't have any way of kind of working as a team to spread out. In order to change that, something wonderful has been happening in IIT. When Dr. Rupal Dalal, she works with us through an NGO, along with her team, has developed what are called spoken tutorials, health and nutrition spoken tutorials. They are available to anyone all over the world. We're trying here to convert them into Spanish and other languages so the world can benefit from that. And those spoken tutorials focuses on the first 1,000 days of mother and child. And so that has all sorts of 10-minute animation tutorials that could be logged on through the smartphone or and if you're working at a center and people don't have accessibility for that, they can give you a pen drive which has all these tutorials, and you can have your group look at it. And those
That's amazing.
those have been extremely valuable in this COVID time where mothers haven't had a chance to be able to visit to doctors. So that's an example of that. There are other examples like Mr. Desai just mentioned. There are NGOs working, local NGOs that focus on mother and child. And perhaps you could partner with them, and rather than using your resources, they could come as a team and focus on, your family's thing. The other related thing was Anganwadis. Anganwadis have, they're all over the cities and villages and so on. We work with one NGO, which is a health center in Jijamata Nagar in Worli in Mumbai. And so they have contacted Anganwadis in the region, and the Anganwadi sends their children to be, trained on various aspects of nutrition and health. And so that's another way, this could be multiplied and a partnership could be developed with the public Anganwadis. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Bharatji.
Thank you. We'll definitely get in touch with Dr. Rupal Dalal. I've made a note of that. And I think it'll be good if we can get these spoken tutorials. At least we can share it with the mothers and so that'll be very nice. Thank you, Mr. Parekh. And
I'll be happy to if you give me
I'll get in touch with you after the call maybe, and
Okay.
then maybe you can connect me to her.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the team, we should give Vinita ji a good warm clap around, doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, our next presentation is from Sarah Birge. She is an executive director from Nanubhai Education Foundation in New Jersey. And she is specialized in data analysis, and those are actually very important these days, especially with AI, to figure it out, limited resources we have. How can we maximize the impact of it? And that's where the data analysis part and all those things are helpful. So, Sarah, form is yours. Go ahead. Hello?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Is it my turn to present?
Yes. All right. You are already introduced and you are ready to roll.
Well, give me 1 second. Thinking. All right, can everyone see my screen okay?
It's loading. Yes, we can now. Go ahead.
Great. So before I introduce myself, we do have one of our co-founders and our executive board chair on the call. Manoj Uncle and Anita, do you want to introduce yourselves and sort of chime in as I present?
Sure. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, I'm Anita Patel. I am the chair for Nanubhai Education Foundation. I started as a volunteer many, many years ago when I heard about Nanubhai at a grassroots forum in New York. And the school where they were sounded very familiar. And I had heard the name of the school many times in my life. It happened to be the school where my father and grandfather went to school. And so I chased Nanubhai down. It took me 1 year to try to find who the founder is and what type of work they're doing, because nonprofit work, we all know, is a lot of work, and there's many people doing multiple, they're wearing multiple hats to do their work. So the good people of Nanubhai were doing many different things, and professionally, and also here working on the ground in India. So when I did get in touch with them, I started volunteering, and I've done many different roles, and I'm really proud to now be on the board. And Sarah will give you a really great overview of the work that's happening. It's really exciting. And I'll pass it over to Manoj Uncle here, who can tell you more about himself and the organization.
So I'm Manoj. I'm a gynecologist in Georgia. I went to the Kadod High School, and the Nanubhai Nayak was our principal at that time. And I did all from 5th grade to 12th grade under him. He really transformed our school from a small village school to one of the best school in Surat, Gujarat. And he helped me all along when I went to medical school in the other part. And I thought we wanted to do something for the Kadod High School. And so we started this Nanubhai Education Foundation through my son. And it grown from a small one to the really great one. And I really appreciate you giving us a chance to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita and Manoj Uncle. And my name is Sarah, and I became involved with the Nanubhai Education Foundation as part of my graduate degree. And I spent about 2 years living in Gujarat, in a town called Kadod, where Manoj Uncle is from and where we began. But from those small beginnings, we have really grown a lot. So our focus is on sustainable and scalable programming. We are exclusively in rural India, and we do serve girls exclusively. And so our flagship program is the Nanubhai Scholars Program, where we send young women from these rural areas to college. And we will fund up to 30,000 rupees per year. And when we had our pilot program in 2014, we had 12 Nanubhai scholars, as we call them. And we're very happy that this year we are giving 131 new scholarships for the 2020 Nanubhai scholars, including, I believe we currently have about 200 scholars still in college. So every year we're adding more and growing. And yes, and these are the exact numbers. We have 365 that we're funding, 181 graduates, and then again, the new class this year will be about 131. And this is Bhavani with her check at our office pre-COVID. So we have a pretty clear system. We follow the school year calendar. So in the fall, our staff will go out to various high schools and recruit. We get in the applications. We make the first cut to determine who will get an interview. And then we interview about 100 applicants in Gujarat and 100 applicants in Rajasthan. And then we make our final cut. Before COVID, we would have a wonderful celebration we called Signing Day, where the scholars and their families would come in and we would celebrate them, because it's very important to us that the scholars' families who have supported them going up through 12th standard, sometimes even in very difficult circumstances, they have this family support. We want to make sure that their families are also honored. Of course, COVID has changed that. And then once the scholars are in college, we continue to support them. We have WhatsApp groups, and we'll sometimes offer trainings, or, oh, you're struggling with some math homework, like how can we get you help? We will fund, we will pay for their books, we'll pay for their hostel fees, we'll pay for their food fees. We will even have a handful of scholars who, if they struggle because perhaps their high school education was not what it could be. We'll get them tuition. So we really try to provide both academic and social support through college. And as we graduate more and more scholars, we're looking at our postgraduate support. So having alumni networks and saying, oh, well, you know, this scholar is a nurse at this hospital, and maybe she can let people know if her hospital is hiring, or so-and-so is taking her CA training, who can she talk to about that? So it's very important to us that we're not just helping our scholars get college educations. We want to make sure that they are successful after college, that they have the careers that they want, that they have the socioeconomic mobility for their families. And I can also show you figuring out who gets a scholarship can be very complicated. We, in the past 2 years, have had 700 applicants for about 75 spots. And so, well, you know, we're always working on fundraising so we can give more and more scholarships. We do get a very high number of applicants. And this is a blank version of our application tracker. So you can see that we have this pretty tight system where we look at poverty, and we have some special considerations about, you know, their parents. And then we also look at academic merit. And so I'd have to slide all the way over. So yes, those are the ways that we decide who gets a scholarship. And sometimes it can be very difficult, but obviously we want to make sure that we are giving scholarships to financially needy girls, and also girls who will be successful in college. If their academic skills are low, perhaps they will not be able to handle college. So every year, it's difficult to make these choices, but we have a very clear mathematical system to do it. And since the pandemic, you know, we haven't been able to do some things like our signing days, or we usually do a Diwali function, but we have grown in other ways. So our original site was in Kadod, which is in Tapi district of Gujarat. And then we expanded to the Dangs district and the Surat district of Gujarat. Simultaneously, we opened an office in Udaipur, and we're now in 3 districts in Rajasthan: Udaipur, Rajsamand, and Dungarpur. We last year connected with a nonprofit in Uttar Pradesh, SSAR Sansthan, and we are funding 6 scholars through their nonprofit, which works with secondary education, but they are using our system. So that spreadsheet you saw, they fill that out, they use our metrics to decide, and then we will fund 6 scholars. And this model of sort of franchising or outsourcing our program to other nonprofits is something we're interested in continuing to explore. So this year in 2021, we opened a very small pilot in Narmada district, so adding on to our districts in our home state of Gujarat. We also were very lucky to have a donor who was interested in adding his hometown in Dubai. So this particular donor is funding a number of scholarships in his hometown, again, using our system. And finally, we have connected with a nonprofit in Jodhpur, UJAS, the Universal Just Action Society, which supports Hindu migrants who are coming from Pakistan, who have issues with being stateless and not being able to access services, and living in refugee camps in very challenging conditions. So we're very happy to work with them and extend some scholarships to that population. So you can see from the little tiny 1 star when we were just in Kadod, to expansion to 2 states, 3 states, and hopefully in future even more. Something that's very important to us and something that I focus on a lot in my role at Nanubhai is collecting information about their outcomes and the populations that we serve. So it's wonderful that these young women are pursuing their college dreams. It really just makes everyone so happy to see, you know, I participated in a judo competition, or we did Rangoli, or we had something for International Women's Day, and you know, I'm doing well in my classes, and the college experience is wonderful. And also we want to make sure that there's socioeconomic mobility for these young women and their families, that they are walking into careers where they can support their family, they can have positive impacts on their community, and they can also change local mindsets about women's education. So you can see their average family income is quite low. Most of their families are, most of their fathers are farmers on less than 1 acre of land. Almost all of them are first generation high school graduates. Many of them pursue STEM careers, so science, nursing, engineering. And another statistic we don't actually have up on the screen is that 21% of their mothers did not have any education at all. Roughly 60% of our scholars are from scheduled tribes and scheduled castes. We do have a small number of Muslim scholars. We have several open caste scholars and some OBC scholars. So very diverse, but in general, rural and limited family income and limited education, especially for their mothers. And we also really track outcomes. So as I was saying, this is the most important thing from my perspective, where we can be sure that they are walking into jobs where they have a significant salary. So this is just comparing, the families, the average income of the family that these scholars would come from, and then the salaries that they're making upon graduation. Of course, COVID has greatly impacted the job market and scholars' ability to walk into careers. And so we're continuing to support them with virtual workshops on resumes and interview skills, and just supporting them as much as needed. And you can also see that one positive outcome of our program is nursing. So nursing jobs are very, very popular. And this was something we encouraged scholars to do. And then, of course, during COVID, having put a significant number of nurses into these rural communities has, been very beneficial. And so it's a little bit of a silver lining in the dark cloud of COVID that our program is putting nurses into these high needs areas. And then, there's also sort of the qualitative non-statistic side. There's so many stories that these young women have. And one girl who I'd like to talk about is pictured here, Mamta Gamut. Mamta Gamut. And her younger sister was affected by polio and was unable to access education because she was disabled and she could not walk. And from a single family, very desperate situation, and Mamta got a scholarship with us and became a nurse. And so now not only is she supporting her family, but she's participating in polio vaccine clinics in rural areas, which is ensuring that no child will have to go through what her sister went through. And so there are many, many stories like this. It's a cause that's very dear to all of our hearts, and we are a small organization, but very passionate, and we look forward to growing. So I will stop. I'm happy to share this presentation with anyone who would be interested in seeing it. And now if anyone has any questions, I think Anita and Manoj and I can do our best to answer them.
Yeah,
Chaitanya, sir, I believe you're muted.
So thank you for your very nice and concise presentation. Anita ji and Manoj ji, thank you for your contribution as well. And the team here is the effort that is very focused. They are picking up X number of candidate and giving them a lift to do something better than they could otherwise. And this can be expanded with the more contribution and the more donation and people who wants to do that. So that's one area that they have a system laid out. You can overlay your wishes with them and they can take it over from there. Any question for Sarah, Anita ji and Manoj ji? Please raise your hand or just shoot the question.
Sorry, maybe I'm sound like a broken record. I'm very concerned about ethical training. Vinita ji earlier talked about that she has a chartered accountant student who's working. I think you also have working on those. I myself got trained as a chartered accountant about 35 years back, but I never practiced in India because what I found was that most of the chartered accountants were engaged in tax evasion, helping companies save taxes. So let me assure you that I really suffered for that, but I never for a day practiced chartered accounting, despite spending years. So if anybody, and I really feel, my personal very strong opinion, that ethical training in India at all levels, school, colleges, employees, everybody. I talk to people in India, they tell me every judge in India has a price to give a judgment in their favor. So if anybody wants to connect with me and do something and develop a small program to at least have 1 hour ethical training per month in any school or any organization, because here in corporate America we do ethical training and do that. I'll be very happy to connect. And to Sarah and to Anita, if you have any feedback to incorporate something like that, love to hear your feedback. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good suggestion for the entire team and all the organizations. And here is a little channel view, but very important view. And so request to everyone to think about that and get in touch with Avi. So Sarah and the team, I have a question. That as you give financial assistance to 100 plus people and track their progress academically, what are you doing to create a better personality and thinking and make them a better citizen or the person going forward? Is there any aspect of that in your program?
And Anita and Manoj, feel free to jump in. That's a wonderful question. And as I mentioned, we are working on building out this sort of training and this sort of support, both for scholars in college and postgraduate. So to date, we have really focused on soft skills presentations. How do you interview? How do you conduct yourself in a professional setting? But I feel that we are at a sort of tipping point where we now have so many graduates and so many in college that we are going to be focusing more on this. So to date, no, we have really focused primarily on getting the scholarship checks in the hands of deserving applicants. But this is something we are looking forward to doing more in future.
Yeah, and this thing, you at a given time, you have a couple of hundred students in the pipeline. And that 200, now you are helping them financially, help them with the soft skill as you mentioned. And there are other organizations associated with this Mohanji's effort. Manu Vora, he's teaching several kind of soft skills. So you have the team together. You can marshal them up once a month for an hour of a Zoom session and impart a skill. And that might additionally help them become better at what they are doing, which is studying. But I think overall development is also a key beside financial assistance.
Let me add something to that. 2 months back, Dr. Manu Vora, who is associated with us, he does this program on soft skills. He's currently working with the AICT also. He's done in many colleges, universities throughout India. And he has done a program for the people in Calcutta connected with the Ektara. This is a 6 weeks program. He has modules. Every week he does that. And he does from here in the night in the US. So that is the morning in India. So that one we can arrange for you when he has next program, or he can do for your scholars. Those already graduated and those are in the process of, they are already going to college. So it will be first year, second year, third year, fourth year. They all can come and join it. It will be on Zoom or Google. Okay. So that's one thing we can help. Other thing is we can connect with some good organizations for running schools in the rural area as well as urban area. They can be helpful us in your recruitment, and you can also help them to see how they can improve themselves with the criteria you set it up, so that they can avail of this opportunity, or we can create new opportunity. One is Bangalore, Parikrama Humanity Foundation, Pardada Pardidi in UP, Rajasthan, we also have their organization. So we can connect to these organizations. Also in Chicago, we have Northside Foundation, who's been doing also similar thing for last so many years. They've been raising funds throw the spelling bee and other competition in the US, and they support the students in India. And so we can connect with all the resources, knowledge we have, and how we can do better ourselves. That's the job of IDCA, and we'll be very happy to work with you further to understand better and expand it further so more people can benefit. So we can create a best citizens. We
Correct.
also run a program in Jaipur in the college where we are training the students in social entrepreneurship, where they're exposed to different non-profit organization for training. They work in a project team of 6 or 7. They go and do work there for 2 weeks, make a presentation. Our annual conference in Jaipur every year we are having since 2012. So these are many things we can help the students become better, productive citizens for the country. So let's try to work together, and we congratulate what you are doing. And I'm sure there is a lot of potential of expanding it and learning from others and doing many better, wonderful things. So
I
thank you.
think, yeah, no, that's very good. I think their effort right now is a very focused to X number of student, a couple of hundred-ish, and that kind of approach is also necessary so that you can find the talent and groom them forward. What we are suggesting here is groom them even more, just the same number of student, 100, 200, but in a different aspect of life. And I would say the what Mohanji said are the organization you can reach out to and just ask them for 1 hour a month kind of stuff, and create a little better jazz without disturbing your main purpose in life, that is helping select number of students through the financial help and bring them into the college. Okay, very good. We can take one last question from Pragati Ben. Go ahead.
Hello. Actually, I don't have any question. I just want to ask when is my turn because I have to catch flight.
Okay,
So if I can
yes, you will be on in 30 minutes.
in 30 minutes.
Yes. You
Oh,
are
then it
One
will not
speaker
be.
before you. There is one speaker
Huh?
before you. There is one speaker before you.
and
Okay, sorry, sir. Then I will not be able to attend because I have to catch a flight. So if you can reschedule, it is okay. Otherwise, I will see in the next time because my flight is rescheduled and by Indigo, so I will not be able to attend the conference at that time. I will be in the boarding and all that things. So if you can reschedule and give me 10 minutes now, it will be okay for me to talk now.
Okay, so I think we can give 10 minutes and then Jay can go after that. Is it okay?
Yeah,
We have 10
that
minutes.
will be,
yeah,
that will be,
just
yeah.
please limit it to 10 minutes.
I just also want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say
sure,
that
sure, sir.
I will leave
Sure,
at
sir.
11.
And
I don't have.
thank you
Yeah,
very
just a
much.
minute.
Yeah,
Just a minute. Jay, what do
yeah.
you say?
I just wanted to let you know that I have another meeting at 11 o'clock, so I will have to leave at 11. So you plan accordingly, please.
Yeah.
You have, so Jai has time right now up to 11.
No.
Yeah.
Jay, give 10 minutes and Jay will start at 10:30 and finish by 11. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for rescheduling. I am Pragati Gokhale, Chief Mentor, Mission Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing via marketmirchi.com. I am connected with Mohanji last year, and what exactly I am doing is I am retired principal scientist from Government of India, Ministry of MSME, and by default I am a IT professional. While working there, I noticed that the bottleneck for the growth of rural industries and particularly our farm sector industries and non-farm sector industries is a lack of market linkages and the knowledge of doing online marketing uh, through any means. But since we are now digitally empowered city with the Digital India mission, and since now smartphone is affordable in every rural family, I started this mission. And with this background in mind, I develop a platform, marketmirchi.com, which is totally mobile friendly, very easy to operate for farmers, self-help groups, and any rural entrepreneurs. And this is the first part of our mission, marketmirchi.com, which is a multilingual, where we have three sections: sales, buy, and jobs, and a very simple modus operandi. We don't ask them to fill long registration forms and all these things. We take them to action. If you want to sell vegetables, click on the post free sales ad button, select a category like onion, potato, जो भी है, और अपना हेडिंग दे दो, डिटेल्स दे दो.
एक्सक्यूज मी,
हाँ,
आप अपना
हाँ.
कैमरा ऑन करिए, टू टर्न ऑन योर कैमरा.
ओके ओके, सॉरी. हाँ, यहाँ बैंडविड्थ इशू भी है सर, इसीलिए मैंने ऑफ किया था. तो ये सब करके एनी रूरल एंटरप्रेन्योर कैन पोस्ट हिज एड in 1 minute, and immediately after posting ad, we show him or her all call list of all the buyers, which includes big players from Big Basket, Reliance Retail, Ninja Cart, to any B2B, B2C contacts. And for teaching, for capacity building, we are conducting pan India trainings online, offline, through various organizations, including many NGOs like Tata Trust, Bayer, Bajaj Foundation, NABARD. Through NABARD, we are conducting hands-on training for FPOs in remote locations. Now I have come to Lucknow, and that is why I'm in the hustle of this catching a flight, for teaching SRLM staff about for who are working for self-help groups to on how to use marketmirchi.com. This is regarding backend linkages. For front-end linkages, we have project with IIT Sitara, Mumbai, where we are leveraging artificial intelligence to find buyers in the online space for agro and rural products, and we are successful in it. And we have more buyers than sellers on marketmirchi.com. And marketmirchi.com is used pan India, right from Dimapur, Assam to down south, by more than 20,000 farmers, self-help groups, and rural entrepreneurs. So this is all about Mission Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing via marketmirchi.com. We have a YouTube channel, Market Mirchi, where all our success stories recorded by BBC News are also there, and how to use marketmirchi.com in various Indian languages, that videos are also there. And remaining videos are prepared with support from IIT again and MKCL, to teach rural entrepreneurs all over India in their language to do their free digital marketing using marketmirchi.com. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for rescheduling me.
Thank you. Just quickly, so that you get a good response from this group. What Pragati ji Ben has just talked to us about is a distributed Amazon. It's another.
Yeah, but just sir, one minute, sir. It is not an e-commerce initiative. It is a India Mart model. It is a India Mart model where sellers and buyers are interacting with each other and going ahead, and without spending a single pie. It is absolutely free platform.
I got it. I was getting at it. And this is something that buyer and seller are real time getting connected, and they are setting the price. And this is this is a model which is going beyond the currently popular model like Amazon, where it is buyers goes to Amazon and they sell it. So I think this is a very significant initiative, which is online, real time, very fair pricing, and all that kind of stuff. So what's the total number of transaction or number of people participate on a given day on this system?
It is, as I have told you, around 20,000 plus all over India. Rural participants are there.
Okay, got it.
70% direct market linkages are generated, which we are tracking through Google Analytics and our data analytics.
Very
so
good.
And we have a unique model of keeping active rank of the people who are making many transactions. We through software give them a rank per transaction. So there are many sellers as well as buyers who are having active rank above 500. And since we don't have any business model, we give them high listing through our search active sellers and search active buyers links on homepage. So we have recorded their interviews also, and those
Fine.
were broadcasted by BBC News, who are repeatedly using this portal for their free direct agriculture
Correct.
and rural marketing.
Very good. Thank you very much for your quick presentation. I won't be able to offer the time for the question answer, but thank you, team. I think we wish you
And
well.
my contact number is on marketmirchi.com web portal under a help menu.
Okay, very good. Thank
Okay.
you,
Thank
and
you.
have a
Thank
safe
you.
flight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we get back to our third and also significant presentation from Jai Sehgal. He has been on this initiative over 20 years, and he has affected close to 2 million people, over 1,000 or so villages, and creating a better social and cultural and ecological behavior and the outcomes. So, Jai, we would like to hear from you. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Desai. Appreciated the time. And thank you, Mohan Jain, for organizing this wonderful session. I want to, first of all, commend Vinita and Sarah and the others for their initiative they have taken up in the education forum. I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen, and I hope I am successful to do so. Previously, I had issues with this. Can you see my screen at all?
Yes, we can.
All right. Hey, this works finally. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you very much. Thanks for the
Yeah.
opportunity. I will give a brief overview of the Sehgal Foundation, and what we do in many aspects. But my focus, of course, will be in what we do in the education sphere, as Sarah and Vinita has very nicely explained in their initiatives. So Sehgal Foundation is over 20 years working in India. We started out in a small regions of a very backward district in Mewat, Haryana. We don't belong to Haryana. The family does not belong to Haryana. Suri and other Sehgal, who started the foundation, our Suri is from Punjab, and Edda is, of course, German. They started the foundation 20 years ago, both in India as well as in the US. Dr. Suri, being a renowned agriculture scientist and entrepreneur, by selling many of his organizations, he put most of the money's proceeds back into this foundation to do the work in India. So a little bit about, as I said, we started with a handful of villages in Haryana, developing models, developing those that impact-driven models. I want to continue to emphasize the impact that we are impact-driven, and what makes impact, we take it to replicate in the other regions of India. By starting handful of villages, and now you can see on this map that our reach has increased into 10 states, moving into about 1,300 villages, and this number will all end up our outreach is about 3 million people across India. What do we do? That is the big question. I mean, not question, but that is the big. People are wondering what the Sehgal Foundation does. Sehgal Foundation works in hand with the communities. As you can see, the participation and sustainability program, that is a very, very key program for us in working with the rural communities on hand in hand. Not giving them charity in any particular way, but actually training them on the access of their rights as well as access to the programs that the government has to make sure they are functional at the grassroots level. That's a key program for us from sustainability perspective. We do a lot of trainings, love working with hand in hand, as I said, with the communities, with the government officials, and with making sure the work at the grassroots functions effectively. Our key program on water management, we have done tremendous amount of work. As a matter of fact, not to boast our own organization, we are known as in India as a water organization, basically water specialist organization across the country. Agriculture is an extremely important program to the Sehgal Foundation because we work in the rural communities, and the mainstay of the rural community is agriculture. And agriculture is that we want to make a positive impact in sustainable agriculture practices. So those are I'm not going to get into a lot of details of these programs. I just wanted to give a highlight on the water, agriculture, and the sustainability program. The main program that I want to talk about today in our discussions will be the Transform Lives One School at a Time, because our forum is about education, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on the education sphere instead of putting a lot of attention into many of the other programs. And anybody wants more details on our programs on agriculture, water, I would be pleased to share that information at a later time on a separate email, or we can have a separate discussion outside this forum. So Transform Lives One School at a Time program is a fairly young program for the Sehgal Foundation. We have been working in this program about now 4 years. And one of the things that I do want to mention is that we have what we call our cost-cutting themes throughout the organization. As everybody knows, climate is becoming a big issue throughout the world. And we want to make sure what we do is climate sustainable programs in water, in agriculture, in the schools. We must make sure that we are climate aware and climate conscious in the work that we do. So we call that as a cross-cutting theme. How do we bring climate change? We don't directly work on climate change. Climate change is a huge aspect, and our forum is our way of working is to see to it that in each of our program we retain those climate change into our view in that particular aspect. The other cross-cutting theme for us is women empowerment. We firmly believe the fact that women needs to be involved in every one of the programs that we work on, and we must work on improving the well-being and improving the accessibility to women in the villages from every aspect that we work on. Water, we work on agriculture, we work on schools. On all aspects, we want to make sure that women empowerment is taken into account in those particular aspects. Now, when we cannot talk about women empowerment without talking about education to the girls, young girls in the schools. And it is extremely, because women empowerment doesn't mean that it starts at a adolescent or a adult age for the villages. It must start from the very beginning. We feel that if a girl is a well-educated and well-educated, will have a better future than uneducation and being relying on others in that particular aspect. So as I said, girls and girl education is from the very beginning, and that's why I think the program is a four-year-old program, because through our research we realized that that these young girls that were only going to these government schools did not have the basic facilities available in the school. So our program a little bit differs than what you have heard in the earlier presentations. Our program is more on looking at the facilities and looking at how can we bring the girl child to the school and make sure that children remain in the school for the duration of the day. And one of the things our research really pointed out is that the facilities, and not our researchers, many of the other organizations have done similar research, that the facilities really lack in the schools, and that is one of the reasons why the children don't enroll in these schools, and why they don't remain in the schools. And we also realize that if there at least in the areas we have been working, if any family has a little bit of money, they will tend to send their boy to the private school, and the girls are just ending up in these government schools. So we said if we want to make a difference in the lives of the girls, we need to really uplift the condition of these schools. So you can see on this some of these things that we work on is working on water and sanitation issue, work on school transformation, and digital skills and empowerment in these government schools. I'll explain each one of these topics, and as we move forward. Well, one of the key things that we said I earlier mentioned is the sustainability is extremely important. We do not get into the operations of the schools. We don't feel that we belong in that particular aspect in those schools in the operations perspective, because there's nearly 250,000 government schools in the rural communities. And if we are in the operations aspect of it, then it is very difficult for us to expand our program to other areas. So we work quite a bit. This is again community outreach program, working with the schools on the school management committee. I think the group knows what school management committees are. They're basically a board in the school, which is an elected board, and they are responsible for the school's operations. And when we go to the rural communities, we realize these school committees, management committees are not operational, or even if they are operational, they really don't know how to go about getting the facilities in the system. So they are not aware of the government programs. And again, it's going back to the sustainability aspect. How do we bring close this gap? And we feel the biggest way to do that is to train the school management committee on how the school needs to be managed and how the school needs to be functioned and how they can access to the facilities for the school so this is a key component. And without having the full backing of the school management committee on their role, understand, we do not take on that particular school in the transformation process, and they have to be hand in hand working with the foundation to be able to working with our team to be able to do these to make sure they understand how the work is being done and how they need to sustain it as we will phase out of this school. And there's a clear understanding from very beginning. Water and sanitation is a very, very important issues for us. I mean, everybody knows one of the key things in the schools, you do not have, we realize many of these schools do not even have water, even though there'd be a pipe water coming to the school, but there's no water coming out that pipe. So we work on creating a sustainable water practices, as you can see in these photos, that we build these water tanks, harvest every drop of water in the tanks that falls in the roofs in the school, and store this water. And this water remains in a sealed tank, away no exposure to the air or sunlight, which can contaminate the water. So this is a very pure water that the children have the access to drink. And even before the children actually get the access to drink the water, we run it through what we call a biosand filter. So this water is extremely clean, and this has a sustainable source of water for throughout the year in the schools itself. So it's we feel we need to create these sustainable methods so that there's no interventions that within a year or 2 years, things break down and then we have to start all over. Similarly, further on the school transformation, not just the water, we work on making sure there's plenty of toilets, especially for the girls in the schools, as well as making sure there's a safety measures in the school. We have realized that there's the boundary wall is extremely important, and because otherwise there's a lot of intruders into the school and a lot of theft and breakdowns. So we make sure that every school has a proper boundary walls. You can see in the top screen that how the boundary walls are built, and make sure the school is kept and the children are kept safe in the school. Trees and plantations, new play equipment. None of the schools that we have been working on, there's no access to any playgrounds or anything like that. So we make sure that we build, again, keeping in mind how do we attract the children to the school and how we keep them in the school. And then we work on the interactive classrooms. One of the themes that we have used is, as you see in the bottom left-hand corner, is the ship that we have built in the school. It's a little expensive to do, but it is a attraction point for the kids to come in and say, hey, look, we have a ship in our school. But actually it's a smart classroom where it is fully equipped with the touchscreen monitors, and kids are allowed to watch videos, which kids are allowed to education videos and those type of. So it's, again, creating an environment. It sounds very fancy, but it's creating an environment to bring the kids to the school and make sure the kids remain in the school throughout the day. One of the key components I just mentioned is the digital literacy component for us. It's extremely important, especially for the girls. How do you bring them to mainstream, and how do you bring them into the education aspect? And so we work quite a bit on the life skills education with the girls, as well as with the digital literacy. It is extremely important. We create what we call digital libraries in the school, where there's a dedicated room is assigned, all the equipment is available, computers are available, so the children can continue. We do this program is a 6-month in-school program where our teachers are actually giving the basic education to the girls. And once we phase out of the school, either they take over the digital literacy aspect, the school management committees take up the digital literacy program, and there's a digital library in the school so the kids can continue to have that education on the digital access to the outside world. Some of the, as I said, the impact is extremely important. If we see the program is not bringing an impact, we don't take that program forward. We make sure. Here are some of the figures on the impact. The schools, it shows 70 schools, but now we have reached over 100 schools. And these schools are not just in one area. They're in Alwar, they're in Haryana, Alwar, Bihar, all throughout the map that you saw. These schools are spread out throughout the country. And the program has been extremely successful. As you can see, some of the awards that's been given to Sehgal Foundation. And the awards are one thing, but that's a good recognition. But I think the more important, that second bullet, the bottom on the bullet for us, is that seeing the effectiveness of the program, we are seeing a lot of the government itself is is coming forward and taking that program forward. And that's a big success for us, where the government of Rajasthan said that we like this program and we want to do it at 20 schools in Rajasthan. So I think that's a success factor for the program. Now, one of the questions I'm sure comes everybody's mind, okay, the school's beautiful and everything. What about the teachers? I think that's always the issue. And we have seen that what is happening, again, it comes back to the government. I won't take more than 5 minutes on this, on the rest of my presentation. We have seen that when the schools are beautiful, when the kids are in the school management committee is operational, more government schools have been appointed in those schools. So that is the process we don't appoint teachers, we don't appoint because we don't. Some things have to be done by the school management committee, and that's the biggest task they've been given. And we have seen with many of our schools that the kids who are going to private schools are coming back to the government schools because, of course, the education is free, first and foremost, and the school environment is good, and they're getting the proper education. In these, few pictures, you can see that difference simple things can make, and so the environment in the school gets built so that the kids are more excited to come to school. These are before and after pictures of some of the things. Here are some of how the kids was sitting in the school before. On the right-hand side, you can see how the kids are sitting. Through COVID-19, we took up the initiative that we want to make sure the kids who come to school, they remain safe in the school. So we do a lot of, basically, again, educate the school management committee so that when the kids are entering the school, they have sanitation, access to sanitation, access to the temperature, the hand washing stations, some of these key things that we have done to modify that program to make sure that kids remain safe from the virus perspective as well in the schools. I think on our call today, we have quite a few people who have joined hands with the Sehgal Foundation as a support. As you can see, again, as the recognitions are marvelous, but it talks about credibility of the organization, and I think that's what gives us more credibility as well as encouragement to continue to do the work that we are doing. Partners are extremely important. As I said, quite a few of you have very kindly joined hands with the Sehgal Foundation, and we work quite a bit within India to join hands with these partners who bring success to the rural communities. Now, these are not all on the education side. They're on the agriculture, they're on water, they're on digital literacy. So all aspects of our programs, these are our wonderful partners. We join hand in hand. So with that, I want to say thanks once again for the opportunity. Jitendra ji, you have very kindly said that Jay has done it, Jay has not done. That type of work is the work done by the team on the ground and work done by the communities, work done with our volunteers. So it is said many times, it takes a village. It is not me who's doing it. I continue to work on strategy. I continue to work on looking at how the organization needs to remain as we phase out. I will not be around a long time from now. So what the seeds we sow today, we want to make sure we nurture the plant and make sure it grows and remains to make the impact and gives the proper fruits as new development professionals take over the work that we got started. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll stop and take questions.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate your very, very streamlined presentation. One thing is very vivid throughout the presentation. It's colorful, artful, and pleasant to watch through. All those schools you converted from where they were to where they are now. It's an effort that allows kids to be more enthusiastic, motivated, and you are guiding those efforts towards better outcomes. Thank you for your work. There were one question popped up in the session was, how many schools have you converted so far?
So we have done 100 schools, as I said, in various parts of the country. And quite a few schools in Rajasthan has been, and that's where Rajasthan government has seen the impact and taken up this initiative on their own to replicate 20 more schools, with, of course, guidance of the Sehgal Foundation.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. Shara, your question, please.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you got started. As you saw, the Nanubhai Education Foundation is a fledgling organization. We're quite small right now. Could you talk about your origins and how you got to where you are today?
Yes, Sarah. The foundation started by Dr. Suri and his wife, Eda Sehgal. Basically, Suri is a renowned agriculture scientist, and he has worked with the rural communities and rural farmers all his life. And as a seedsman, he basically set up organizations working on setting up hybrid seeds, which were sold in the rural farmers, basically. And him and the family realizing that we have quite a bit of gain from in that particular aspect. It is time that it is given back to the community, the people who that purchase our seed over the years. So Suri and Eda, being very kind, over 90% of the proceeds that came, our companies were sold to Bayer Crop Sciences, which Bayer has two aspects. One is on the medical pharmaceutical side. The other side is the agriculture side. So our company was sold to Bayer, most of our companies around the world, as a matter of fact. And the proceeds that came from the sale, 90% of that money was put aside to do work in the rural communities. And that's how we got started. We got, again, a very, very long story short, our initial thought was to fund other organizations, because we did not come from a social development side in that type. But we also, coming from the business aspects, in a business, you always look for impact. How do you bring impact? How do you bring difference? And maybe we were impatient at the very beginning. We did not realize that. But by our funding, we were bringing the impact that we wanted to bring. And that's how we got into the implementation ourselves. Now, today we have over 300 professionals working at various different levels in the country. And we are hands-on organization. We are not a funding organization as such. And but we join hands with our partners, how we can share and how we can learn from others, share what works, and learn from others what their aspects works as well. So that's, yeah. So I think that somebody's indicating the time is short. So I'll move on. If I have not answered your question, we can meet outside. I'll leave my email and phone number here.
Great.
Thank you. This, I don't see any more hands, so I would like to say thank you, Jai. Appreciate your presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And I'd like to leave this segment of our presentations on education with one thought. And maybe we can reflect on it, and we will close it with a short meditation, reflective meditation. The first thought is India, as you see from a cultural depth and the people, once you bring them over the poverty line, which is the food, shelter, and clothing, then they can exhibit a very different level of skills, capabilities, ambitions, and therefore I think efforts towards just bringing to the baseline, which is a comfort, food, shelter, and clothing. I think that once it is there, which most of the organization who are presenting is getting there, next layer of improvement is making them a better people. And I feel that you will get there much quicker because of cultural heritage that we see in people. And so it may be a time now that we need to start putting a different skill set, how to become a different, better human being, living together, helping each other, proceeding further, Avi's point of view being an ethical one and stuff like that. So I think paralleling those efforts right now may give you better result in your own projects right now, which is education and stuff. So we should get out of the mindset that it's the poverty. Just call it a differently able people looking for a baseline to achieve before they can really flourish. It's the poverty image gives a different connotation in everyone's mind, the sympathy, poverty, and all that stuff. These people are pretty good, and we have to recognize and giving a different set of skill, and that's where I think some of our cultural heritage can help in area of unity, community, yoga, meditation, those aspects, the satsang, which is a company of a good people coming together, all that stuff may have a value at this time in creating new India. And that's why I for one, has started focusing on just meditation. And how could you take meditation to a very practical level for creative thinking and creating better harmony, you're getting more out of whatever the presentation we are attending or making. And so it is just another skill. It is not spiritual. It is just another skill of managing your thoughts to a point where you are more productive and more happier and more content. So I would end by another 1 minute session where we gonna meditate. Just simply sit with straight back as straight as possible. And just plant your feet firmly on the floor and breathe through the entire body. And the breath is going through 7 trillion cells, relaxing them. And ponder on one project. What did I learn in this education session that I can personally be benefited of? Maybe sympathy, empathy towards less fortunate people, and what can I do? And then what I would like to change going forward that make me a better contributor towards better life for the people who are seeking. Open your eyes when you're ready. Appreciate this. This is the Shruti where you regroup your thoughts again. And in the beginning, we regroup our thoughts towards what we want to gain. And you, by simply doing that, you are better organized in your head and thinking, and then give you more of it in a more relaxed way. Appreciate your time and efforts. I want to congratulate all 3 speakers and their efforts, and I wish them well in going forward. And the entire team, if you can help them in any ways possible, would be promoting the mission of our morning today. And thank you. Mohanji, back to you.
Just want to say congratulations, Jay, and you're doing great work, and how we all can work together. We had 3 speakers today for working education area, but we are know many more, and how we can all enrich ourselves, each other, by working together. You are doing some dimensions of education, some part improving the facilities and all that, but others who are doing other parts, and how we can latch on to your program to improving the quality of education, giving the other ideas so that we can be holistic development for the education. That's how our goal is there. So I will be happy to connect with you, other organizations. You learned that from the two today, they are doing different aspect of it, and how we can connect this aspect to what you are doing, and how they can connect what they learn from you and do the things what you are doing. So this is the whole purpose of this meeting, just not talking, but learning and trying to implement some of the things we learned in these meetings. And there were others held before that. And I wish everybody stays all the way in order to benefit from these meetings. You will not benefit, you just come and go and, okay, I've done my part, I've done. But say, okay, I will connect with these people, learn from them, and help them in whatever way I can. That should be our commitment of coming. Even we are a small number, but we can make a large impact. One person can make a lot of impact. You can latch with one organization and try to see, help them, whatever the resources they need, what are the things they're lacking, how you know better things. And I think that's what we should be doing. And thanks, Jay, that you have taken up the education subject. We have taken up that subject since 98. My son has dedicated to working in India in improving the education for last 23 years now. He left from the US and full time he's working there, and he's looking at different aspect of how we can learn better, how we can become better people, how we can self-support ourselves. And he has many initiatives going, including in the jail program, where trying to make the prisoner who will be coming out to make them better citizens when they come out, productive citizens. They started recently program with the household workers, how we can add to their skills and how we can make their lives better. So they come and work there 4 hours, trying to help them to learn new things other than what they do. Morning they do their cleaning or whatever work they do, homes, and afternoon they spend with them, and they're exposing them a lot of new things, new ideas. They're not all drop out from the schools and all that. So to many aspects, and we can all learn small aspect and trying to make our programs better. That's the purpose of the IDCA. It provides a platform, forum for all us to interact and share and enrich and accelerate the development work in India. Whole purpose was that there is so much, all this knowledge is money. Knowledge which is sitting, which has been obtained with spending thousands and thousands and millions of dollars. How to utilize that knowledge to expand it further elsewhere and apply it elsewhere. So thank you, Jay and others. So Sarah and Vinita ji, if they're still there. And I wish all the speakers stay and all the participants stay for the full program. Then we can benefit much more, because a lot of interaction is required after the presentation. And so I will make my effort to connect you all. All you are connected on the emails. I have sent you all in the groups and all the speakers. You can interact yourself. And we have a WhatsApp group also for education people. So I'll be happy to add you, others who are, if you leave your information in the chat box here, or you send me by email, then you can interact more freely and share the things. So thanks again.
Thank you, Mohan.
Yeah.
So I have a question here. I see in the program you have Dr. Heera, and we haven't heard from him. Are we ending the meeting before his talk? That's on livelihood?
No,
Yeah,
we are
mute,
starting-
uncle. He's just
we are
after that.
starting Next
He's
session.
just after that. Yeah.
It's not ending session. Session is on, but program is still going on. So
Oh,
we're still
okay.
in the livelihood.
Okay,
Yeah.
I somehow got a sense the way you were talking.
No,
you
no.
saying goodbye.
I was just
And I didn't want to have
On the
Dr.
education
Heera
only.
deprived.
I wanted to share some ideas on education, and that's what my purpose is right now.
It's just
I
the-
see.
We're already speaking.
yeah.
Next, and
It's just a panel discussion and not
Right,
the program.
yeah.
Okay.
This education panel.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Okay. So don't worry about it. We are all getting that. And then I will have a video also from Mrs. Pragati Gokhale. She sent one, so we'll show that one also. So please stay, and you will benefit from that. She's doing wonderful work. I connected with her last year, and trying to help her to expand her program and reach to more organizations. And Jay, you might be interested to latch on and to villages in the and Sehgal Foundation to connect with them and put their products on the website and try to sell that one. Thank you.
Mohanji, just quickly, I had to apologize. I have another 11 o'clock meeting that I have to get to, so I'm already 10 minutes late. So I will look forward to the video. I assume you will share the video
Yeah.
once everything is done,
Yeah.
and I would look forward to watching that and learning more about these programs. My
Yeah.
apologies, but being I have 2 more meetings coming up so today. So thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciated it, and look forward to connecting with all of you. I did put a little bit of information about an upcoming event we have on November 13th. I hope everybody will register and join us to learn more about our initiative, Transform Lives One School at a Time. So thank you, Mohanji.
All right. I think who is going to take over? Are we now for the next session? Next
Yeah,
panel?
there's only one speaker, Dr. Heera Lal, so we can start now.
Yeah, we can start with him. He has a lot to share. He has a lot of experience. He has been collector. He is now health mission and a lot of things I've been interacting with the last few years. A very interesting young man, and so many things he's doing. And so we'll talk. Last time he talked about water things he's done in one of the district he was posted, and now he's talking about this project he started, Mera Gaon, Model Gaon, and how he's creating livelihoods and trying to help. And his job is right now on the health mission, but he has other interests going on at the same time. Every posting he starts something new, and that idea he carries on. And so we'll also show a video I got from Mrs. Pragati Gokhale after Hirelal's talk. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Heera Lal, go ahead, please. This is your forum.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm not getting the sharing options. Why same problem is happening now?
In the bottom, there is one in the hand icon in the bottom of your screen. Right to that, there is a square with the arrow on the top. Do you see that or you don't see that?
Yeah. We practice, but again, okay.
And then share a window.
Again, same problem here.
No. Do you see or you don't see it? A hand icon in the bottom of your screen. You're looking left, right. Go to the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
There, can you see a hand icon?
And you
on the
bring
bottom.
the pointer there and you see present now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so click that one, present now. And then you will see options.
Now I got.
Window, right.
Okay.
So-
It is visible, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome all the audience and the speakers. Actually, Model Gaon is a project to increase the income, to double the income, as Government of India is trying to double the income of the farmers, Indian farmers, through a scheme, and to make the villages independent, to reduce their dependence on the others. Under the present circumstances, during the corona, what we have seen that the villagers who have migrated to the cities for livelihood and or for the other purposes, they came back to the villages during the corona. So that's why I have taken this slogan Chalo Gaon Ki Or, because during the corona, during the emergency, during the problem time, villages supported, not the cities. And one more thing I would like to say, with the current thinking, we cannot change the villages. To change the villages, we have to change the thinking. That is our new initiative. The background is that I had been collector in the district of Bada, that is a district of the Bundelkhand region, and I had been collector over there for 18 months from August 18 to February 20. During that period of 1.5 years, I did more than 20 innovations by involving the public. So I got astonishing results, and when I put all the 20 results together, the net result is the model Gaon. And this model Gaon result is tested, tried, and verified on the ground. This is not the top down approach. We have not made this model in the AC rooms and we are sending in the on the ground in the villages, but otherwise it is a bottom up approach. And in all these innovations we have applied three tricks and techniques. We took the no cost or low cost activities and action, that was the first tricks and techniques, and second was the convergence of available resources, funds, inputs, and ideas. We never asked for any outside support. And third one is the involving all the stakeholders, so that all stakeholders, all the participants should take the ownership. So these are the three tricks and techniques which we applied in all the 20 innovations, and we got the astonishing result. For example, I would like to quote some results. During the election of Lok Sabha in May 19, we increased the highest percentage polling by more than 11%, highest in whole UP. One result, we increased the water table by 1.34 centimeter by involving the public participation. By public participation, and we increase the crop productivity of the whole districts by around 19%. So likewise we have more than 20 results through innovations. So based on these results, the vision is the holistic development of the village. And our mission is we have developed a village manifesto. Anyone can develop that village manifesto with their own photographs online via our Model Gaon site. And through this village manifesto, we establish the developmental agenda in the villages, and we select the good people, socially thoughted people, to convert them into the change makers for the holistic development of the village. Model Gaon is broadly divided into three parts: village manifesto, first part, second part is change maker, and third part is farmer producer company or farmer producer organization. The first part, village manifesto. If we ask the villagers, here village means the area of the Pradhan, Mukhiya, Sarpanch. In India, village elected headman is called Pradhan in some states, Mukhiya in some states, and Sarpanch in some states. If you ask the villagers what is, do you know about the development, either they will not know, or if they know, that is not complete. They are not knowing the development completely. One thing. Second thing, if you ask what are the agenda points of the development for the villages, they are not knowing more than 10. So we are telling them all the complete 25 agenda points for the of the development. And the most important part is that there is no demand for the development in the belly of the citizens. So if villagers are not knowing completely about the development, they are not knowing all 25 developmental agenda points, and there is no demand, how we can see developed villages? We can't see, because these are the gaps. These are the lacunas. So, to provide the solution to these problems, we have created Village Manifesto. And one more thing, farming is the best industry and farmer is the best entrepreneur. This is the fact, but it is not in our thought process. So this is the Village Manifesto, and through this Village Manifesto, and in the Village Manifesto, we have given these 25 points for sanitation, education, medical, income, electricity, water. Through these 25 points, by working on these 25 points, we can convert our village into a modern village or developed village. This is the village manifesto. Hindi में गांव घोषणा पत्र. Anybody can develop this, create this village manifesto with their own photograph, address, and everything through our site modelgaon.org. The second part, change maker. Everywhere good people are there. In villages also there are good people who wants to do social work. They have the thirst for the good work. So knowledge is power. What we do in this one, we select the good people in the villages. We send them on agri touring to the best practices related to agri or related to village development. They they go there, they learn the best from the best practices, and they use to apply in their villages. Through this, by we are empowering them by providing them the best practices knowledge, and that increases their income. So that is in short the how we are developing the change maker. We are selecting the good people, social people from the villages. We are sending them to the best practices to gain the knowledge, and through that knowledge we are empowering, and once they are empowered, they practice that knowledge acquired in their village, and village is going up. So that is in short the change maker, and they are the drivers of the model Gaon. Third part is farmer producer company. Government of India has amended the Company Act to give this facility to farm the company. So farmers will farm their company and they will run their company, so that they should convert their agri, which is loss making, into agri business, which is a profit making. So the point is that now farmer will become the owner of the company. They will convert their agri into agri business. They will convert their agri mindset into business mindset. So that is the part third. We are through technology, we are connecting online with the people living in the villages. FPO, farmer producer company people, village headman, national rural livelihood, self-help groups, Anganwadis, and e-governance, village level entrepreneurs, and youth, Nehru Yuva Kendra and PRD. Via our this IT facilities, we are connecting these people living in the villages, and we are doing the hand holding to provide them all the facilities, all the knowledge, to transmit all the knowledge of model Gaon, to convert their village into model village. These are the process to connect with the model Gaon. If anybody wish to connect with the model Gaon, you can register on the model Gaon site. You can download our village manifesto. These are emails, these are numbers. So these are 6 ways through which you can connect with the model Gaon. So the question is how to convert your model Gaon, your village into model village. So all the persons who are having the Android phone in the villages, first of all, they must create their village manifesto with their own photos, and they should start working understanding all 25 points of the village manifesto. And once they will come to know about all the 25 points, thereafter they will start working on that, and as a result we will be able to convert their village into model village. So this is the second step. We make one person responsible for each 25 points, and that person assigned each points, they will work on their own point for in the whole village. So this is the procedure how to implement, how to change the mindset of the villagers on these 25 points. These are the awards we Model Gaon is getting in a very short period. And the Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Sri Raju Kumar on 2nd July tweeted this, praising a lot about the Model Gaon effort. And media coverage, this is the media coverage because of its good thing. This is the one best slide among all. We always think to start some new work, to start a good work, we need power, money, and post. But reality is not this. We need not these things. We need achhi soch, ichha shakti, and lagan for doing any new and good thing. That's what we are highlighting, because in the villages, villagers do not have pad, paisa, and power. They do need this thing. These are our teams, and this is broadly the concept of Model Gaon and the procedure which, as I explained, how we are reaching to the village. By now, in 21 it says in India we have reached. So this is all about our Model Gaon, and we have completed just 10 months. We started in the January, and in the last February Corona came, and in the odd situations we are getting very encouraging results. And how we are implementing this Model Gaon project, I am honorary mentor of this project. Honorary President is Mr. Muniz, who is a retired CGM NABARD, and there is a small office, and there is a CEO, Mr. Saurabh Lal. He is having a small office, and he is having 4 assistant in his office. And the expenditure is supported by the ICCI Foundation. ICCI Bank and its foundation is supporting us to run this model project in a systematic way, so that we can realize the dream of Gram Swaraj of Mahatma Gandhi and Pura of Missile Man Dr. APJ Kalam. So this is all in very short. Thank you, Jan Saab.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Heera Lal. It's
Yes.
good presentation. I've been knowing about it for a while, and now it's good to hear from you instead of just seeing the pictures or reading it. So congratulations all what you are doing, apart from your official work of director or associate director of the National Health Mission. Is that the still you are holding that, or there is a new office?
No, still I'm holding same office. I'm in the same office,
Yeah,
medical health.
medical health. So next presentation will be on health. You know, you're done on water, now you're done in livelihood and village development. And that has been the main goal of our IDC when we started 2003. The whole thing was, understanding, catalyzing Gram Swaraj in India. And we were inspired by Nanaji Deshmukh, who has worked a lot in Uttar Pradesh and Chitrakoot. I don't know if you had a chance to visit that.
Yeah. I am very much in the touch with that organization,
Yeah.
and Mahajan, Mr.
Yes.
Abhay Mahajan is the secretary now, and
Yeah.
he is the head of that institution. I invited Dr. Abhay Mahajan is in one event in the Mada. So he was our chief guest in one event also.
Yeah, so I know about them since 82 when Nanaji started that work. And I visited first time in 2004, and then I visited again 2011 and 12. And at that time, there were different general secretary, Dr. Bharat Pathak,
Yeah,
who is
yeah,
now
yeah,
in
yeah.
Delhi, and his wife, Nandita Pathak. And they were working there with Nanaji. And I met Nanaji many times. He came there. He also was in our first inaugural meeting in India 2004 at the age of 88. He was there to come and bless us. And so we have been working. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was very much inspired Nanaji. He said that what I have been thinking about Pura, you are already doing in the villages. The whole they had program of Samaj Shilpi Dimpati, that's what you are talking. And like, a person in the village who will be motivators, who will bring the knowledge to the villagers, how to do things, and also utilizing the resources which are available already, how they can help do the things better for themselves. So thank you again. We will be ready to promote and help this one, spread it further, all different parts and to different NGO partners to connect with you and try to make use of the approach you have developed. We started also Adopt a Village campaign in 2015, and we have similar ideas in that. We uh, connect with the villagers with the knowledge centers and different NGOs where they can learn different aspects of the work, the water, education, all those things. Or an NGO there will be the one in charge in the area and who will be helping through the village uh, empowerment and development associate who will be again interacting with the villages on this thing. So there were ideas common. We'll work together and try to see how we can bring this dream of Gandhiji's and of course all of us. India will strong only when the foundation is strong. It is not the bottom of the foundation, the bottom of the pyramid, but it is the foundation of the pyramid. I say the villages are the foundation of the pyramid, not the bottom of the pyramid. And once the villages are stronger, India will rise anything. I have some other projects also which we like to discuss with you, which I am working with Mr. Hariharan from Bangalore. And he has projects to see how to utilize the biomass around the villages and to produce wealth for the villages. He has done a lot of experiments already, and he's looking for funding, big funding to do one commercial size project, which is about $2 million. So that will help about 10,000 people in the villages and bringing the biomass together and converting into valuable products instead of just wasting or burning it or doing something. So I'll connect with him also. So how we can integrate all those things to bring things up further. And so thank you again. And I think I'll get who is the Aviz in charge for this session uh, to
Yeah,
go ahead
that's
with
fine.
it.
Thank you for that. I think we have a couple of people who have stayed back. Dr. Reddy, you want to say something? I think let's open a forum now for the remaining time. And maybe I think Dr. Bharat has a lot of things he wants to say about a lot of things. So let Dr. Reddy have his say, Dr. Parekh, and then maybe you can come in. Is that okay? Dr. Reddy?
To show also very interesting. I think everybody should do it. It's also well connection to your Mera Gaon model Gaon project, how to market all these products. You're talking about farmer organizations and the villages, how they can connect with this one, take advantage of the technology to market their products and get the best price in the country. So I think that will be interesting to will
Well,
do that thing.
Okay, Dr. Reddy, go ahead, please.
yeah, a really very nice presentation from all the members. I wanted to ask that lady from Kolkata, was it a boarding school? are just there helping the people in that area. So then, so is she still here?
I think she's left, but I don't think it's a boarding school. It's a day school, in my understanding. Yeah, Mohanji,
See, I can answer it. I visited them. So it is not a boarding school. The people who have visited the slums, it's located in the slum right in Calcutta. And all these slum people are people who used to work for leather industry. And leather industry was moved outside from that area. But people had the small shacks and small homes and they are staying there. They mostly have migrated from Bihar and that area, Jharkhand and Bihar and UP, and who are mostly a minority community. They're working on the leather industry, and she's helping on that. And of course, it's not there because people live right there, so they come from there, and it's not a.
The reason I brought up that, we had the George Foundation in Karnataka. They have, boarding school. So if you remember, we had him few years ago. I do contribute to them because they are kept in that boarding school from age 3 till they graduate to high school. I think, because they're in close supervision and they're producing very good results. And he's expanding to one more school in the same campus. I'm impressed more from that, some of those, because it's a very close monitoring, because every aspect, they take the children from the slums, the poorest to the poor. I was just thinking whether it is that model. I know it costs a lot of money for that model.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it. No, just I myself, just contribute rather than, because I don't have time to go and spend like you.
So you can contribute to us and we can direct to the right organization.
Usually, that's what
we know a lot of organizations who are doing good work, and I visit them regularly whenever I'm in the area close by. So all the organization which we have been talking about, I have visited
most probably I will be visiting in India in January. I'll get in touch with you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bharatji has some question.
Yeah, I have a question for our speaker is gone. Is that of Dr. Heera? Is he? I don't see him on the.
He just left. Yeah.
Oh, he left. Well, I had a question for him. Maybe some of you could answer. I was impressed by, in his model, he had this online linkages. The question I have is, I go to India frequently too, except because of COVID. I haven't gone there now for 2 years. But every year I go, I'm mostly in urban areas, so I'm not too familiar with the village development. But he had everything online. Does that mean the farmers and the villagers all have access to broadband and they have cell phones, smartphones, and computers? I mean, otherwise, how can they connect to all of those resources that are online? I mean, it's a great thing. They could then, spread it to other villages as well, and it'll be a great model.
Smartphones, there are 700 million smartphones in India. All this goes through the smartphone.
So the access and the training and everything's available, that they all are using it?
Yes, a lot of being used.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy to know that. Yeah.
Bharatji, over the last couple of years, the smartphones are exploding in use. They have made it very cheap, like 1,000 or 2,000, and they get basic. This market thing, this Mera market, that is also from the villages going up. And the government of India has taken upon a task of giving broadband connection to villages.
I see. Okay.
And therefore, through the mobile communication, through the smartphone to that center in the village, which broadcasts their data on a broadband connection. And so a lot of stuff has happened in last couple of years, especially through those infrastructure projects. So when I go to India, these villages are everybody on the phone back and forth, and it's an amazing thing to see. Sometimes I feel we have more phones in India than in US.
Yes. Yes, no, that's good to know. But what about the power, though, infrastructure for that?
That's
I
also
thought India is so far behind in
No,
power
it is.
and development, and
All
also,
the villages are now connected with electricity. Okay. All
yeah.
the villages are connected. The Modi government did that job 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Is that a distributed power or online? Because
All
with
distributed, they have electric connection in all the villages.
It
Okay.
is not on time basis. 24 hours, you get 2 hours electricity and
I
not.
see.
You
No,
get
they
enough
give you
there,
more live.
people can function. That's what it is basically.
Well, I'm thinking in terms of climate change and
Yeah.
renewable resources. I mean, India is quite behind in terms of it's still reliant heavily on coal and
It is going in big way on solar and everything. So don't worry about that. It's going on that. So long they have to do both right now to meet the demand. But they are working very heavily on producing solar
happy to
power.
know.
Yeah, it's a big thing going on. Solar
The,
also.
Yes,
India is
no,
one
no,
of
no. The thing is, the India didn't sign the 2050. You know, Kerry, our ambassador, was there. Modi didn't want to commit at all. So I think we have to put pressure on Modi government for this COP 26. He has to sign up to met the zero emission, zero, whatever you call that, by 2050. Otherwise, the whole existential threat to the humanity. So
No, I understand that, but question is that our footprint is there only 1 to 2 tons per person, whereas in the US is 20 tons minimum. Okay, so that's what you're seeing. So they have to
but there should be a commitment, isn't
so
it?
the commitment to go up to 5 tons only. That's all. No more than that. That's the commitment.
Dr. Reddy, I think that there is a larger scope to your question about committing.
Yes.
And it is this, that India is a least polluter of the top three, China and US, as Mohanji was saying. So I think what Modi is postulating is I need to improve the electricity availability in India, and I have to use coal because that's one of the key resource I have. But while he is doing it, he is also adding solar power to about 100 gigawatts and going to 150, which is the world biggest project at this time.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
And
so I
wind
think
power too.
he may be simply postulating that I don't want to sign because he wants to see that there is a technological help available for that commitment, which was available in Obama's time, but then it was taken back, and now the Biden government has not recommitted that help. And without that help, India would have to divert major resources towards that. So what Modi is doing is, I gotta take a lead on solar power with all the countries who has lots of sunshine, and I'll scale that. But I do need help.
Yeah, so we are going both ways right now until we reach some balance in that one. Development goal as well as environmental goals. So but they are trying to balance both the things, and both the sides they are going. And naturally, as green power increases, they will cut down on the coal production and adding the coal. That's what is going on. So long they can meet all the demand, increase demand through the solar, they will not add any more coal, and they start then reducing coal. That's how it will go. So let's, unless any other thing, then I want to play that video which is I got from her. 15 minutes we use, and then we'll end by noon. Okay? Is it all right with everybody?
Good.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Let me bring
Well,
that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
आपके सारे कृषि तथा ग्रामीण
1 second. I think I have to reduce it the size.
उत्पादनों की मुफ्त यानी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मार्केटिंग करने के लिए इतना ही नहीं तो आपके खुद के सर्विसेज की बायोडेटा की भी मार्केटिंग करने के लिए marketmirchi.com ये एक बहुत ही बढ़िया ऑप्शन है यहाँ आसानी से आप आपके जरूरी उत्पाद खरीद भी सकते हैं
तो
और
माइक्रोफोन
आपके
ऑफ करेंगे
खुद
तो
के
नहीं आएगी,
उत्पाद
सब अपना
बेच भी सकते
माइक्रोफोन
हैं।
ऑफ कर दें।
तो आइए देखें, इसके लिए हम क्रोम ब्राउज़र का उपयोग करेंगे। यहाँ पे सर्च एड्रेस में हम लिखेंगे www.marketmirchi यानी उसका स्पेलिंग है MARKETMIRCHI और आगे जोड़ेंगे .com और अब एंटर का बटन दबाएंगे तो देखिए ये है marketmirchi.com की साइट। और हाँ, आपको तो ध्यान में आया ही होगा कि ये कोई ऐप नहीं है जिसे डाउनलोड करना है। यह तो एक वेबसाइट है जो आप आपके मोबाइल से या अगर आपके पास उपलब्ध हो तो किसी लैपटॉप या कंप्यूटर से भी खोल सकते हैं। इस साइट में सबसे पहली बात जो मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी वो है आप इसकी भाषा बदल सकते हैं। इसके लिए देखिए सिलेक्ट लैंग्वेज के ड्रॉप डाउन पे क्लिक कीजिए और यहाँ पे अलग-अलग भाषाएं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत होंगी, जिसमें से जो आपको आसान लगे उस भाषा में आप इस वेबसाइट को देख सकते हैं। जैसे ही भाषा बदले वैसे ही वेबसाइट की सारे ऑप्शंस, सारी कैटेगरियाँ, सारे बटन्स यह हिंदी में प्रदर्शित होना शुरू हो गए। अभी के लिए मैं उसको फिर से अंग्रेजी करती हूँ। तो देखिए इस वेबसाइट में आपको 3 बटन आसानी से दिखाई देंगे। एक है सेल, दूसरा है बाय और तीसरा है जॉब्स। एक-एक करके हर एक की तरफ देखें। पहला बटन है सेल यानी बेचना। इस सेल सेक्शन में अगर आप देखें तो आपको एक बड़ा सा पीला बटन दिखाई देगा जिसमें आप आपके उत्पादों की बेचने की फ्री में ऐड यहाँ पे पोस्ट कर सकते हैं। और इसको पोस्ट करने के लिए यहाँ पे 26 अलग-अलग श्रेणियाँ आपको दिखाई देंगी। इसमें से कोई भी श्रेणी अगर आप खोल के देखें तो आप देख पाएंगे कि भारत के अलग-अलग जगहों से बहुत सारे किसानों ने अपने-अपने उत्पादों की यहाँ पे एडवर्टीजमेंट्स डाली हुई हैं। यदि आप इसमें से कोई भी उत्पाद खरीदना चाहते हैं तो यहाँ पे
हाँ जी, साउंड कलर चला गया। Mr. Mohan, maybe you can post, Dr. Mohan, maybe you can post a link in the chat and people can, look it later.
I just logged on to that site and I was trying to follow as the video was offering comments.
Let's take.
Okay, we're getting some response.
Wow, look at this. 94% of people believe company culture is important to an organization's success. Frankly, I have no idea what the other 6% are thinking. You know, usually when people look up ways to improve culture, they look for best.
Mohanji, you are mute. We can't hear you.
Make our people and in turn our
I think
culture better.
they
We found
kind of,
company
because the
culture
ad
formulas
is stopped,
that work. And we've crammed it all into a guide to culture. For a free copy, click the link and go download it now. You won't regret it.
Wait until now.
You can skip the ad after 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, you can also pay with 3 easy installments of free. Go ahead, go check it out. Or stick around while I read silently about picking the right perks and
Yeah, they disturb it because of
Okay.
yeah, it should be coming now back. Let's see.